Hello everybody, and thank you for being on the show again. Let me tell you, I am super excited about our next guest. He's absolutely been incredible. He's had some great achievements in his life. I've checked out some of the work that he's done in his bio. It's a great privilege for me to be able to interview this man, and I'm really excited about some great questions that we've got coming here. It's a little bit different to the people that we normally have on our show, which is always good to hear it totally from a different area. That means a lot to small businesses as well. So this man absolutely has made a difference. He's served the public for years and years, which is pretty amazing to dedicate your life to, such a noble effort, I feel. So please welcome to the show, the City of Bankstown Mayor, Khal Asfour.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, buddy. I'm super excited. So, Carl, I've been reading your bio, mate, and I had a look at some accomplishments. I mean, you've been elected like from 2004, and this is going back, 16 years. It's pretty amazing. And you're in and out of it as a deputy mayor from '08 to 11, and then, mayor again from, 2011 to 14. And it's pretty amazing. So I suppose I want to start there. I mean, why have you decided to dedicate your life for so long to this, task? I mean, it's a big challenge, right?
I guess the simple answer is I love it. I love what comes with it. I love my community. I love living here and raising my family here. I grew up here, so I think I know the area pretty well. And I love what we have to offer, whether it's community or business. So it's something that I enjoy, and I've always thought we can do better, as an area, as a community, as the small businesses and communities that we have. So I've got the opportunity as the mayor to be able to help and work with a whole range of stakeholders to make sure that essentially the perception of our community is changing, essentially that there are jobs available for our people, and to make sure that they can put food on the table. I think that's what it's all about, and making sure that the environment is there so they can succeed.
I love it. And just tell me, Carl, I mean, from your background, you've got 3 kids, you've been raised in a local area. And with that, just give the kind of the viewers or the listeners just a bit of background on you, what it was like to grow up in this area, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions around the area. Sometimes the media portrays it as a negative,
100%.
but I know my in-laws are from the area. My wife grew up in the area. She's Lebanese. I'm just trying to get what it meant, because Bankstown has been a hub of activity for years. I mean, this is going back, to our parents' generation and before that, obviously. So just give us a little bit of insight on, why you're passionate, because I always like to tell business owners, you don't just wake up and go, I want to do a business. There's something inside you that makes you passionate about that. And,
There's definitely a drive, right? There's definitely a drive.
correct.
Growing up in the area and witnessing, I guess, when you got to the age where you started applying for jobs and knowing and having a feeling that, when you put a Greenacre or Punchbowl or Bankstown on your resume, jobs in the city, they wouldn't take you, they wouldn't interview you just simply because of your address. And that was a common thing. And people felt it. And I just thought that was so wrong, because you're putting a view of a person before you even meet them based on where they live. So part of that, I wanted to change that. I wanted to make sure that that didn't happen. I got involved in politics. I've always been, interested. I've loved watching what's happening in the States over the last week. I've loved Bob Hawke and Paul Keating. Being a Bankstown person, maybe that was sort of what made me realise that it can happen, and to become the Prime Minister of this country coming from Bankstown. I also think Bankstown didn't got to a point where it wasn't pulling its weight, in that decisions weren't being made to advance our area. There was a sort of a decision. There were decisions made before my time, and I'm not criticising it, but I'm just thinking, that they could have maybe made us a bit more advanced, a bit more competitive with who we compete with, and that's areas like Liverpool and Parramatta and Penrith, and on that level. So I wanted to change that, and I'm raising my kids here. I love my area. I love this community, mate. You got to understand. 370,000 people live here. It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
We've got over 130, 140 languages spoken here. So it's a melting pot. when people come from overseas, whether they're migrants or skilled labour, a lot of them come here as their first port of call.
Pretty amazing.
Like it's a good story to tell, and we should be proud of that. And the other thing we should be proud of is we all live together pretty harmoniously. I know that we get to see the news portray us in a certain way when there's a crime committed, but when that same crime's committed somewhere else, they don't have helicopters circling the sky, right? But we do because it sells. That's why they do it, because it sells.
Yeah, completely.
So they're all sort of things that I want to. So the drive, the idea that we can do better, and the idea that we can work together, because I think we've got something special to sell here.
I really love that, the sense of community, and it was very reflective of me at the business awards, and the ability for businesses to support businesses and the consumer to support businesses. I find that a lot of people within the Bankstown area are very local shoppers and very local supporters of business itself. I've had businesses within that area as well, so I understand that very, sort of firsthand, right? So most people, I feel, don't really understand what happens in politics at a community level. We see the Prime Minister and, doing all that stuff, but, and we see the New South Wales Premier and all of that type of stuff. But tell me what happens at a city level, just like where you're at, and what it means for businesses. And because I think some people just don't get what it means for them. Most people don't understand that they can come and speak to you if they need to, or there's channels that you'll be able to help with. If you can just set that up a little bit about, what your role and what the department can do for businesses.
So a lot of businesses don't understand what role we have, and really, I mean, we don't set tax policy, we don't set payroll tax. A lot of people think we do. We don't. We control things like, operating hours, development application consents, being able to put a stonemason in whether it's an industrial area or a mechanic in a light industrial area. We set the zoning. So that's how we sort of encourage jobs, whether it's in manufacturing, in retail, in education. There's a lot of things we don't decide. What I think our role is to bring business together, to make sure, we don't, especially with COVID and the way things are happening, a lot of the things we do is following on from state government law, right? Whether it's departments and planning and work cover and so on. So what I feel our role is to help advise. So that's why we set up an advisory service probably about 10 years ago, because we felt that there was a piece lacking in our local community. We had people that just didn't understand how to start their own business. They'd never been taught it at school. They thought it was easier than what it really was. And a lot of them struggled because the first 5 years was learning how to do it. We had a lot of people not understanding how to do that. So we set up a service that we could bring them together. We had, after 5, events and breakfast events and guest speakers and so on and so forth. Really effectively what a chamber does, because we were lacking that chamber sort of presence. Luckily now we do have a chamber that's working well, but I guess it's also about hearing from the business community. There was no channel, there was no funnel where we were hearing from it, other than, when they get their rates notice, or when a council health officer comes and inspects the restaurant and the kitchen and gives them a fine because they're doing something not healthy or not right. They're the type of things that we do. So I guess in a roundabout way, a lot of what we do is government down towards us, and then we effectively conduct the compliance. But I think, and what I did was find another channel where we could talk about advisory roles, bringing businesses together, understanding what they all do, listening from people to hear about their struggles and their challenges and how they overcome them. Because we have a lot of small businesses here in this local area. Other than the city of Sydney, we've got 33,000 small businesses, and that's the highest. Other than
impressive.
So it's about making sure that they're supported to a level, whether it's food handling, we offer food handling courses for free in 5 languages to make sure that people understand what they need to do to meet health and regulation standards, because we don't want them getting fined. We don't want people getting poisoned. There's a whole element to that. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I guess
no, it is. I mean,
there's misconceptions out there about
Yeah,
we should do.
what you do, right? Yeah, completely.
But there's
And
also the regulatory role and the advisory role that I think is important.
yeah, I really liked what you said around, we're trying to bring businesses together and to really listen to them, because often I think the council and departments like that, all they hear is complaints about stuff. Council didn't let me do this, or they didn't do that, or they fined me, but they forget about also allowing businesses to come to a particular community and actually making it better for them to do trade in the community.
Yeah,
Some areas. I mean, I know, like even with the eastern suburbs, it'd be 10 times harder to try to get something inside that community, because they're very high level of regulation and a whole bunch of stuff that comes in around that. So I think it's good to also not just hear the bad, but the good of what's going on, which will form the basis
yeah.
of
And
decisions, right? So
Nick, I don't think we sell it well enough. Like that's a sort of something that I don't think we sell well enough. We've got Volkswagen, their head office is in our city. We got a bank. We got an airport. We got people on the airport that are creating things that are being sold all over the world. Like fighter jet parts and tech and high tech. And for me, it's about attracting those big businesses as much as we can and giving them the environment to want to come here.
yeah, I
Why
love
do they want? Why do they want to come here? Well, you know what? The M4, the M5, they're right here. We've got an airport. We've got logistics coming out of there. Like
major train hub.
yeah,
Right?
like people can get here. Their workers can get here without having to sit through an hour's worth of traffic. There's a whole piece to sell, in my view, and my job is to make sure the environment is there to bring to not only support small business but to try and attract big business to come here. That's why we're happy with the university that's now coming. That's going to bring students here.
Pretty
But
awesome.
yeah, that's going to bring students here, like up to 10,000 a day will be coming through the Bankstown CBD. And that's great for them and their education. That's going to bring jobs, obviously, with the lecturers and the teachers. But what it's also going to bring potentially is nighttime economy. It's going to bring more interest in people wanting to open up different types of shops and retail and to service those needs. Again, small business, carrying the load. And that's what I think my role is. So if we can get the university up and running, if we can potentially get a hospital here, we've got a metro, the opportunity to really create jobs, right? Create futures, give people an aspiration or inspiration to aspire to those sorts of things. And that's what my role is, providing that environment.
Pretty awesome.
On all those different levels.
Yeah. It's what is it? If you build it, that will come.
They'll come.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. So tell me, Carl, where do you think sort of, obviously we've had this global pandemic. It's shaken businesses up all over the world, not just here in Australia. But what do you think the next year or two will be like for businesses? I mean, you've got your ear to the ground enough to kind of understand what's going to happen there and what's going on. Do you see that, maybe from a state government level brought down to, where you guys are at across Sydney? Is there going to be support for businesses? Do you see that there's, businesses are going to start to flourish? And the reason I asked this, it seemed like pre-COVID, people weren't that interested in businesses. They were cool, but it wasn't the flavor of it. It's like, pre-COVID nurses and first-line workers and stuff like that were in the background, but then they actually came to the spotlight, and I dare say the Instagram influencers kind of took a back seat, where now local businesses, I think the communities realized how important the fish shop has been. That's been there 20 years. The boot maker, the guy that cuts keys, all of these type, you know what I mean? So I'm just wondering, maybe what you've heard along the grapevine on what the next year or two is going to look like for businesses, because planning today is going to help us 12, 18, 24 months down the line.
Well, look, firstly, I know businesses have been frustrated. It's really been a, once in a century event, this pandemic. Their profits have been hit hard, but I also think it's an opportunity because it's changed the way people shop. It's changed the way people think. So it's really, imperative, I think, on businesses to see how technology can enhance their offering and their service. I do believe that it's going to take a few years to recover, right? This isn't going to be a overnight recovery. And, a lot of them have laid off staff. They need to rebuild and then bring those staff back in. But I think we need to be clear, the federal and the state government handouts, they're not going to last forever.
Yeah.
And that's going to cause a crunch time for these businesses. So I think it's going to be tough, but I think there are opportunities for new businesses to emerge out of this pandemic. There are opportunities for current businesses to change the way they model themselves to be able to become maybe more profitable. That would never have happened, or if the pandemic didn't happen. So just on a council level, where we're changing the way we do business, and it's not just people working from home. It's the way that they engage, communicate. All these things are important. So
it's interesting. Innovation is really, I think, the work that I do with businesses, obviously, is to make them profitable and sustainable. I think that's key, because you can have an amazing year and then everything else is blur, right? So the thing that I've noticed is the key for growth in any business is innovation. If you can innovate better, like you said, the way that businesses do it, whether you're retail, hospitality, whatever it may be, I think that's really important. I was reading less than 100 years ago, every business on the planet was associated with something around agriculture. It's pretty crazy, right? And now we've got, businesses that make buttons, businesses that make glasses, businesses that do everything. It's pretty crazy, like the level of depth. And I suppose, to me, it feels like it always starts at a community level. It always starts at an idea. I'll open up a business here. I'll start something. And now, like you're saying, the retail sector maybe is changing from the perspective of people don't need large office spaces. They don't need, big factory units, because they can do things differently. And I think innovation is kind of key for that. From your experience in politics, do you see that, businesses in Australia, not even maybe at your level, do you see that that's kind of the push for us? Is that the way that we need to go? I mean, you've been in this a long time, and you've seen, no doubt, it hasn't been called COVID, but it's been called GFC. It's been called, something else has hit us, you know what I mean? So
we're never going to compete with China in terms of making something cheaper. That's just never going to happen. But where we can compete is in the value add space. So I think we could really focus on that. How we can value add to a product to make it innovative, or to make it change the way it's marketed, maybe. We've got those bright minds here, but I think that's important. I think we need to continue working to understand now there's going to be less reliance on China, and we need to bring things in-house a bit. I think that's a good thing for jobs, and a good thing for businesses, it's a good thing. But we also need to think about how to remain agile and nimble and not get complacent. In 5 years' time, people are going to have forgotten about the pandemic, and we don't want to revert back to what life was like prior. I think it's important that businesses understand that and appreciate that. People are changing. Societies are changing, technology is changing. All those things need to be factored in when you're thinking about opening a business, or thinking about how you get your business to become sustainable, which is what you were talking about. So I think we need to focus on that, look at that. I think the government needs to do more to drive innovation. I think we need to really invest in R&D, research and development. We really need to focus on that, because we can. We just don't, because it's easier to just live life as we know it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You said it perfectly. We've got some really clever people in Australia, they're undoubtedly. And, I'm a musician, and there's just that whole sector. We've had some of the best musicians in the world come from Australia, best bands in the world, best all of that stuff. AC/DC is from your community too, right? Which is pretty awesome, So, and just, when we look at that, I love what you said, and I'm aware of time. I've got one or two more questions, but I really love what you said, where you said we've got the ability to look forward, not what things used to be pre-pandemic. The world has changed completely. And I think that there's been a lot of businesses that just kind of sat fat and never put money away. Money management was pretty average, as you know. Time management was average. Innovation management didn't exist. And this is the world today. So I suppose it sort of leads me to the next question is, where it comes to your team and obviously what's on offer for businesses, what would be the best way that businesses could take advantage of that? What's the best way for them to go, hey, that there's this support mechanism behind us that we could do? And that could be anything, for maybe how to get the right government grant, how to get, all of these type of things. So I'm just wondering if you could highlight, if I'm a small business and I go, I need help, that there's, and maybe they're watching this interview, that there is a channel there that they can go down, or which way is the best way for them to utilize the services that you guys provide.
We put everything on our website. Like, it doesn't, people are on their phones all the time. It doesn't hurt them to get on our website and have a look at, our business section.
Yeah.
We've got grants on there all the time, information about grants, initiatives, what's going on in the city. Those things are important. But I just think sometimes there's a council and government seen as this obstacle instead of this assistant, if that makes sense. So we're here to help. That's what we're here to do. So if there's questions, if there's information that's needed, we're happy to help it. And we do that a lot with our cafes and with our restaurants. We've offered a lot of grants, three stages of grants in the pandemic to help our local businesses in dollar funding, whether it's innovation or changing your model to introduce technology. We really always push campaigns, and at the moment, we're really going on the local campaign. So you don't need to drive to the city to go to a nice restaurant. We've got plenty here. So stay local, eat global, because we've got everything here.
We've got every 130
every culture, every type of food on the planet you can find here.
Close to my heart too, by the way, because I like eating every type of food.
So we've got food festivals and we've got cultural festivals and all that, which will kick back up again post-pandemic, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's incumbent, I think, on any small business owner to be engaged with what their local council's doing, because we've got people that are working here every day to make sure that their life is a little bit easier.
Very good. I got two more questions. Number one, what does a mayor do when they're not mayoring?
It's a 24/7 job. I'm always talking to people about, whether they want a speed hump or a roundabout in their street, whether they want a tree trimmed or, they want a playground in their local park. And that's important, because those things are on the ground and matter to people.
Yeah.
But essentially making sure their rubbish is picked up, making sure that the road is safe. But I think the other part to that is what I spoke about earlier, and that's talking to government, talking to industry, talking to tertiary education, and trying to attract more business here locally.
Yeah, I love it. And one more. This is probably for my brother-in-law. He is a hardcore bulldog supporter, badly. So what's happening with them, mate? He's going to ask me that. Is it coming home next year, or what's up?
Well, I don't think next year can be worse than this year. So it's things are looking up.
Things are looking up. We need to attract some talent to that team as well. But
new coach, new players. You never know what's going to happen.
Hopefully, yeah, that's it. Because he keeps on telling me every year, it's our year this year. I'm like, dude, I don't know. You guys been like this, And to me, it's kind of the wrong shaped ball. So, I don't have much of it. So, Khal, I want to thank you, mate. It's been an amazing interview. Thank you there's so many misconceptions that you've just answered, the opportunity for us here. And if you're watching this, it's truly amazing that we're such a big community here. There's, like you're saying, it's a central hub for literally all of the western areas of New South Wales. There's so much infrastructure there that's allowing us the opportunities to do it. I know I've got a lot of business owners that are around here. Even for them to find a warehouse has been difficult, because it's attracted so many great people because of the M5 infrastructure, rail infrastructure, all that stuff. And I love going shopping or eating at restaurants around the area, and it's just such a great melting pot. I feel that it's affordable. People are friendly. Don't believe everything that the media throws at you, because it's just really good, humble people all trying to make a living, right? We're all together in this. And I love that your central focus here is to bring people together, businesses together. Man, I want to thank you for your time. I know time's precious for you. Mate, I appreciate it. Thanks for everything, Khal. And, please keep up the great work. We need more people like you, buddy.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.